You are listening to Waywut, a rabbit hole podcast that delves into odd tales involving true crime, supernatural, sports, science, history, or anything that we find interesting. We publish every Tuesday on YouTube, Spotify, and Amazon Music. Please feel free to subscribe or follow us on any of those platforms, or you can email us at waywutpodcast@gmail.com. That's WAYWUT podcast@gmail.com. Or please follow us on Facebook, where we post our new episodes every week. Now let's get started and tell you some stories that'll make you say, "Wait, what?" All right, welcome to episode 5 of Waywut.
Already, number 5.
Yeah, and as of now, I know for sure that you can listen to us on Spotify, Amazon Music, Pandora, if you're like in your late 60s or early 70s. And you can watch our pretty faces on YouTube. So, cheese.
I put on moisturizer just for today.
Oh, yeah. Well, I am tonight's driver, Daryl, and I'm here with my best friend and leading expert on miners, Jason.
Hi, miners.
Yeah, but the digging kind.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
I'm like, wait a minute, before I agree to something, let's find out what you're talking about there.
So, I'd like to kind of just do my little tangent, just get it out of the way. All right. So, you remember whenever those people set California on fire with their gender reveal party?
Yes.
Yeah. They do some fireworks for a gender reveal party and
I
burn
hate gender
down.
reveal parties. I hate them.
Oh, shut up.
I freaking hate them. They're so...
I
I'm
like
sorry.
them when they're creative, not whenever they set a state on fire, though.
No,
See,
everybody
like
has a kid.
If I wasn't snipped and I wanted to do that, what mine would be is it'd be done with the catering. And if it was a boy, the catering would serve hot dogs, and if it was a girl, they'd serve tacos.
That's pretty good.
See?
I've seen a wrestling match one where guys in a pink trunks and the guys in blue, and whoever
Yes.
wins is the girl or boy. But I don't like it. I can't stand them.
Yeah, well, you're old and you're snipped, so you ain't got to deal with them.
I'm an old man. I have a right to be cranky at stuff.
So, back to the people that set California on fire just so that they could figure out they were having a boy or a girl. They got charged with and pled guilty to some misdemeanors, which, I mean, you burn down a state. I mean, misdemeanor ain't that bad.
That's pretty crazy in California. They let you do anything there.
Well, but the thing that kind of hit me on this is that whenever people have a whoopsie that accidentally like burns half the state or causes some sort of other disaster, they get criminal charges and they get sued. When a company has a big whoopsie, sometimes they just act like it was whoopsie after the fact, or act like, they're just never going to act like the whoopsie never happened.
Wait till they get caught and then apologize for it.
Yeah. Looking at you, DuPont, Teflon making anyway. So, but when a corporation does something bad, they just get sued. So I propose, because I'm here to change the world and make it better, we need a corporation jail.
Corporation jail?
Yeah, but not like Club Fed for embezzlers, where they get like a TV in their room and a PlayStation and all that. And not one where they can just throw some scapegoat guy in jail. It's like the janitor planned it all along. Not that. We need to have like a corner that we put corporations in when they're bad.
Okay. Like they can only sell to certain people?
Sort of.
Like
I mean, like
tariffs in a way?
So you're aware that like the U.S. government like granted corporations rights as if they are people. Like, so the Bill of Rights and stuff like that reflect on corporations where they have those rights.
Right.
Even though they're not people and they don't exactly deserve that kind of consideration, you know, fine. If we're going to sit there and say, all right, you have the rights, then shouldn't they also be like held accountable the same
Yes,
way that
if
people
they're
are?
seen, yes, if they're seen in a individual right or as an entity, then they should be held responsible as
It
well.
makes sense because it's like what you always hear. It's like you have the right of free speech to swing your fist, but your rights end the second it hits somebody else in the face. Well, corporations, they can just fucking swing away. Doesn't matter. They can just
Yeah,
hit haymakers on everybody.
I can afford to get out of most trouble.
Yeah. So that with them not having any kind of real criminal repercussions, everything for them becomes a matter of cost benefit analysis because the closest they'll get to like any kind of punishment is fines as well as
Yep.
being sued.
Sued. Yep,
And
but they'll settle
so
out of court.
yeah, so it's all monetary. Everything they do that they just have to decide, hey, if the government fines us $100 million,
Meh.
will it matter if we make $1 billion? No.
Yep.
Okay, let's do it.
Yep.
Let's make some green babies. So if I mean, because honestly, like if it was like that for me personally, if it was just a matter of money, so like say I wanted to punch the person who's in the airport security line that's taking like 10 minutes, they're in front of me and they're taking 10 minutes to put their stuff in the bin to
Yeah.
go through the X-ray. I
Selfish
don't.
bastards.
Yeah, I don't sit there and have to consider be like, oh God, it's going to cost me like $300 to punch this dude in the face. No, it's like I've got to worry about, I'm going to punch this guy in the face, have to pay a lawyer, as well as becoming Jim Bob's new girlfriend in jail.
In somebody's pocket.
Well, I mean, I'm really pretty, so I would be probably be somebody's girlfriend.
Yeah.
I mean, so it'd be nice if I could sit there and just, be like, you know, say you're in the movie theater and somebody brings their screaming ass baby in there and you can sit there and just, kick them in their parts, whatever they may be. Can't assume these things nowadays and throw them out there. The world might be a little bit better for people that have money. But anyways, I don't really know exactly how you'd make a corporation jail. I think what we could do is like require them to put their headquarters in like Florida or Alabama or Mississippi.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, and they'll have to like uh, whatever
Only
product they
be open
sell,
from midnight to 5 in the morning.
maybe. But or if they have a product, the label will have to be like, "Hey, we
Upside
accidentally
down.
killed 42 people last year." You know, Ritz crackers. We killed 75 people last year. Want a snack? Ooh, or maybe they have to employ current and ex prisoners.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's a good one.
yeah. Be like, thank you for calling FISA. My name is T Bone. What the hell you want? I don't know. I'm not the person that's supposed to be figuring this stuff out. All you politicians that are certainly listening to us, because this is episode 5, and by now I'm sure we are
We have
wildly
millions.
popular.
Oh God, they
So popular.
absolutely.
I'm
Yeah,
sure like all of my
I've already
mom's
signed the contract.
friends have listened to an episode, even if they had to suffer through episodes 3 and 4. Uh, but all you politicians, I need you to like stop counting your money and your sex slaves and get to work on this,
Yes, make this a
please.
priority.
So
Bring it to the floor.
speaking of amazing segues, Centralia, Pennsylvania. Ever heard?
Centralia, Pennsylvania. I've heard of Centralia,
You heard of
Pennsylvania.
Centralia? Well, you mentioned Centralia. They were the orphans that you
Yes.
mentioned in episode 2, and that's why I was asking Centralia. What? I imagine it
Mm,
was a different one because I
yes.
guarantee you it wasn't this one.
Okay.
So
Hit me with it.
Centralia, Pennsylvania. It is a coal mining town in Pennsylvania.
Okay.
Yeah, and originally the mines were your stereotypical pit mines. You know, you dig a big hole in the ground, you wear a helmet, you got a pickaxe, you chop, 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 you know, and you load 16 tons, and what do you get? All that stuff.
For
And
some reason, I think I still remember some of the lyrics to that song.
oh no, I'm never going to forget them. What was that, sixth grade where we had to sing that?
Why we had to take music class, I do not know, but
So that we will be, like refined and
musicians.
cultured people, you dingus.
But the songs we learned was so 1900s.
It was more like
I don't. Even-
1940s, I think, but
Oh, they were terrible.
yeah, I don't know. So they did the whole, pickaxe stuff until they got to what's kind of referred to as good coal. It's anthracite. It is a cleaner burning coal. It's not as quite as nasty. I mean, it's still going to put up some smoke and stuff that you probably don't want to be huffing on a daily basis. But it's not
Maybe.
like the one that they just dug out of the butt crack of the earth. So whenever they find this anthracite, the old school methods aren't going to work as well. So they get some new companies, that are up and coming that go to strip mining. And the new mines were all focused on just the areas with anthracite. Uh, thing was, is Centralia, where they've been digging all these holes all these years, we're sitting on all these old mining tunnels. So we're going to fast forward now all the way to 1962. The mining town is still there, but a lot of these old holes in the ground, you know what country people like to do with holes in the ground?
Stuff in them.
Yep. Trash and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's where you dump stuff. It's like, hey, there's a convenient hole in the ground. I'm going to throw my
Yep.
shit in it. So, um, the politicians and stuff are all okay with using these old strip mines as a landfill because it was out of the way. People weren't using it.
It's hidden. Yep.
Yeah.
Like
Thing
sweeping
is
the
anytime,
floor on the rug,
yeah, but
holding that rug up.
anytime a landfill is created out of an old strip mine, um, they're required to get a permit and they're required to have regular inspections because you got this big, all this nasty stuff. It's going to be like,
Sinking into the earth. Yeah.
yeah, because especially really fast because there's already big holes in the
It's
ground.
already a big hole. Yeah. You
Yeah.
aerated. You aerated
So,
the earth.
and they were getting inspected the way that they were supposed to because the last inspection noted that there were numerous holes in the walls and floors of the mine where they were dumping this stuff in.
Go figure.
Yeah. All right. So, anytime you have old mines or even landfills themselves, they're always fire hazards.
Yep.
And you got them together.
Gases, compost. Yep.
Yeah, you get them together and it's an extra big fire hazard. So that's why, it's like we got to get somebody out there and we got to make sure of this. So the inspector says, hey, fill those holes with stuff that doesn't burn.
Name of your sex tape.
Supers. Yes. Yes, it is. Think about it. So they want them to, put some incombustible material in those holes so it doesn't start a fire. So around May 27th, 1962, the landfill caught fire.
Well, of course it did. And I bet it was a
So
beautiful torch.
the date and the cause of this is still debated. Some say it was spontaneous combustion, which can happen with
Yes.
temperatures as low as 104 degrees Fahrenheit.
With it being a compost. Yeah.
But most say that it was a control burn, a routine control burn that they would do to clean the dump. To burn off those compost fumes and gases, the methane that builds up.
That sounds pretty dangerous. There's
Yeah.
methane here, so let's burn it.
Well, no, I mean, if you go to landfills, you'll see it. And honestly, I consider that one of the biggest wastes in the world because you can create a a power plant on a landfill by burning that methane. But most of the time, they just it just has these exhaust ports in there, and they just
And it's shooting
light a
flames up
fire
in
and
the
it
air.
shoots. Yes.
Yeah, I seen that in the mornings when I used to drive to work.
Yep.
It's a pretty amazing sight.
All right. So either way, once it was on fire, the fire department gets to work. They run out there and they put out all the flames. But then 2 days later, the flames were there again. So the firefighters went back, put them out again. And 6 days after that, the fire came back again.
I hate those birthday candles.
Yeah. So this time they're like, okay, water ain't really doing it. We'll bring a bulldozer. We'll move the trash around, and we'll find all those little hidden flames that keep causing this to pop back up.
Spread it out.
Yeah. Instead, what they revealed is a 15-foot wide hole in the wall of the landfill that the fire had gotten into.
Oh.
Yeah. So mine fires are a known issue. They can burn for years.
I could see why.
So usually people take some very quick action to try to snuff this out. Centralia chose to take a bit of a different path. Their first step was to keep doing the same thing that wasn't working. Yeah. So they would go in there, put out the fires with water, whatever. But at the same time, while they're doing this, people keep throwing trash into it. They're like, it's just going to burn up anyway. It's going to be fine. While doing this same useless method, the city was taking their time and shopping around for solutions or trying to get the mining company that used to own that mine or government entity to fix the situation for another month. So in other words, they were trying to get things done either cheap for them or at no cost by getting somebody else to deal with it. They reviewed, as they reviewed,
kind of like what they do now.
Yeah, exactly. Kind of like what I was talking about at the beginning.
Yeah.
So as they review the plans and their costs, things started getting real. Carbon dioxide from the fire began seeping into the active mines that were nearby. And so then they had to be shut down. So, once revenue starts going away, things get real.
Like an ant farm of trash.
Yeah.
Trash and fire.
So they found what they do is they choose an excavation company to dig these trenches to stop the fire, but they give them all these cost restraints. They weren't allowed to do any exploratory drilling, so that they could.
God forbid they find diamonds. Yeah.
Yeah. Normally, what they would do is they would drill down, figure out like where the outside edges of the fire are, so that they could dig ahead of it.
Right.
But that was too expensive, so they're like, no drilling. Instead,
here's a water hose. Yeah.
They wanted them to just kind of estimate it where they figured that it might be, and dig wherever the government engineering people told them to. Wherever the nerds are like, it's probably right here, so dig here.
Sound like you're describing the movie Armageddon in a way.
Kinda. I mean, it's not too far from it, but we'll get there. All right. Furthermore, this effort to put out a fire that's been burning now at this point for nearly 3 months was to only work Monday through Friday, 8 hours a day, no working on Labor Day.
Union.
Yeah. And no overtime. So, I mean, I wasn't aware of this, but apparently fire just doesn't spread whenever it's enjoying its weekend relaxing.
Of course, it takes the time off too. Yeah.
Yeah.
It clocks in and out just like everybody else does.
It's I'm so exhausted. I've been burning stuff all week.
It's so hot in here.
I've been sweating. I need to calm down.
Yeah. Man.
All right. So the excavation company, they dug where they were told to dig and worked when they were told to work. And in the end, the holes they dug just fed the fire more oxygen. They didn't dig far enough away nor fast enough.
Man,
In October of 1962, the project was out of money and the fire moved deeper into the mines.
what's still burning at this point? Is it still the trash, or is it just the
No,
gases?
it's the mine. It's a
The
coal
actual.
mine.
Oh, I see. Okay, I see what you're.
Ha
Okay,
ha ha ha.
I'm sorry. Light bulb.
Ding 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 ding. All right, so right after the trench project failed, they decide that they are going to flush the fire.
What'd you say? Flush.
Flush.
Okay.
Yeah, like all the
Drip.
cards with the same suit.
Mm,
Sending your deuce down into the city works. That kind of thing.
yes, I get it.
In November, they start reviewing bids from companies to drill holes every 20 feet and pump a slurry full of water and crushed rock. It's the way you drown a fire. You try to smother it by filling the holes not just with water, but also like this mixture of like rocks and gravel and stuff like that to help also smother it
Yeah,
while
like throwing
also
dirt on it.
dousing it. Yeah,
Yeah, like throwing dirt on your campfire.
exactly. Uh, of course, they did decide to go as cheap as possible.
Of course
Eh,
they did.
Yeah, and so they only bought 10,000 cubic yards of slurry mix. If you drill a hole into an underground fire and only partially fill said hole, then, like before, you just create another vent to feed the fire oxygen.
Right.
Second, uh, and this one isn't really technically their fault, unless you count just how slow they were at the beginning. It was the weather. They hit an exceptionally cold winter that would cause freezes to their water supply line.
You
So
would
their
think
water
that would
lines
put
would
the fire
freeze.
out too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was actually so cold that it actually froze their rock grinding machine. Yeah.
Well, the fire's still going.
Yeah.
At least they're
So
warm.
between weather and general cheapness, they killed the project in March when it ran out of money.
Again,
And by the month of April, the fire spread another 700 feet.
good grief. Is it still in the town of Centralia at this time? In this
Yes.
one mine still?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. It's still in this area. All right. So they start fielding projects, but due to costs, none of them were going to be implemented until July, which is another 3 months of the fire burning. Uh, so apparently, though, the fire didn't have a budget it had to follow or a fiscal calendar that it needed to keep in mind. Uh, so as they, reviewed these projects involving more trenches, more slurry going into new holes,
Same old,
and
same old.
yeah, the state of Pennsylvania was like, screw it, let it burn. We're tired of spending money. So life went on, and this underground fire just continued to burn. So having an underground fire near your town turned out it had some perks.
Oh, some
Yeah.
perks.
Yes.
All right.
People did not have to plow the snow off of the streets because it
Oh,
would just
everything's
melt because
heated.
the ground was warm.
Okay.
Uh, Farmers were able to grow tomatoes in midwinter because
Soil's
the
still
ground was
warm.
so
Yeah.
warm. Yeah. Uh, but as time passed and the fire grew, it started getting closer to the town. So now we're going to take a big leap forward to 1981,
So 20 years later,
just shy of it.
19 years later.
Yep. 1981, a 12-year-old boy was walking in a yard when a 150-foot deep sinkhole opened up
And swallowed
right
his
under him.
asshole. Oh,
The boy caught a tree by the root, caught a tree root that was on the edge of the hole, just snagged that, and was fortunately rescued by his cousin.
Hmm.
Unfortunately, though, the sinkhole had an enormous amount of steam and carbon monoxide just fuming out of it.
Yeah.
So,
It
speaking
sounds like
carb,
me after Taco Bell.
well, no, that's not carbon monoxide. That's
It's close
deadlier
enough.
gas.
It's close enough. It's deadly for sure.
So now we know that it's under the town now, and it's letting loose its gases. Mainly speaking of carbon monoxide. So as it creeps under the town, the gas starts seeping into people's homes. People had to keep carbon monoxide detectors as well as, just got to keep batteries in them, which you should anyways, but it was extra important for them. And they had to keep their windows open year round.
Oh.
Many of the townsfolk just lived with carbon monoxide poisoning symptoms, including grogginess and headaches. Just kind of going about it, just like, oh, that's my life.
I'm old carbon monoxide.
Yeah. So in 1984, so 3 years after the hole to hell opened up under that 12-year-old who probably got, he looked at a dirty magazine and the ground was like, get
Yeah.
him. In 1984, the federal government allocated $42 million to the people of Centralia for voluntary relocation, which
Hmm.
a handful of people opted to do that. They're like, government's going to give me money to move. I'll take it.
Yeah.
But just a handful of them. It took another 8 years for Pennsylvania to claim eminent domain and force them to take the money. Be
How many
like
years did you say?
8. So another 8 years of living with the fire burning into you that is trying to kill you with poisonous gas the entire
Wow.
time.
Wow. I can't believe it would take that long to prove eminent domain of getting them out of there. Like,
I mean, because technically, you're having to make a case. I mean, it isn't like they're doing it to build something. I mean, a lot of those eminent domain cases nowadays they get through a lot easier. But this was back in 1984, whenever you know, I guess corporate lobbying wasn't as good as it is now, to where it's like, hey, I
you're going to
need
build a
eminent
grocery
domain to
yard.
build a McDonald's on that old lady's house. You
Yep.
know,
And they'll take it.
yeah, I mean, back in the old days, it used to just be like for highways and stuff like that. Now
Yeah.
it's like, well, no, they Pfizer wants to put something in your backyard because apparently you have a Viagra mine in your yard. I don't know. I don't know how Viagra's made.
I don't think it's bond.
So our government claims eminent domain. So it's 1992 at this point, and family would move out, government would come in, demolish the house.
Mm.
By 2009, the post office of the United States of America revoked Centralia's zip code, and the
Oh,
governor
it was up for grabs?
they just revoked the zip code. So yeah, it's up for grabs now. And the governor formally evicted the remaining residents
How can
because
you have Vicks? Or I guess if the
because
town's
eminent
closing?
domain, it was then the government's.
Okay.
So then they evict them. So that means everybody's gone now, right?
Right.
No, no. There are still 4 people that are living there and continue to fight the government's eviction.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like, I'm going to live over this fire, damn it. It's where I belong.
Their heels are dug in and they've come too far.
Yeah.
They're not turning back now.
I mean, technically, at this point, they're considered squatters in their own homes that they, bought and paid for and everything.
In some states, you're okay to do that.
Yeah. It's kind of one of those dark tourism things.
Hmm.
Even though they the highway that was going there, they abandoned it and they covered it in dirt and they're just, consider that blocking it from public access, but not really. People still go in there and check it out.
Well, yeah,
Uh,
I think I actually seen. I think when you said Centralia, I think I've seen something about this before, and it's very intriguing,
it
very
is
interesting. It's crazy.
so. Now, I don't want to be all just negative and talk about weird people that still live in a town that's got a fire burning underneath it. I I will tell you that this thing did something interesting. It created the only geyser in Pennsylvania. In a town called Ashland, the fire will heat up accumulated rainfall, and it will erupt, or you know, whatever it is that geysers do, spew. I don't know.
That's a good word, spew.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't even just this town. I mean, this one's pretty famous because the town had to be abandoned. Uh, but also, they're expecting this fire to continue to burn for the next 250 years.
Wow. So the coal mine that they had, or the coal that was in that mine, if they were
Burning.
actually able to mine it, it would be
Probably be a lot.
enough. Yeah. Wow. That's some barbecue they got going.
You want to hear something real fun? This is
Yeah.
not the only coal mine fire.
Really.
There are more than 100 of these in 9 different states.
Wait, what?
there, so, some geologists speculate that the number is probably really closer to 200 across 21 states.
Are these states connected?
They're
Like,
just
could
all
these
throughout the
mines?
United. No,
Oh,
no, they're just individual fires. These things catch fire. This one's just extra famous because it caused a town to get abandoned. Technically, I think eventually, if I remember right, it even caused another town to also have to evacuate. And what's really crazy when I was researching this is this happens in China a lot as well because they're really good at doing things as cheap as possible. The Centralia way. I mean,
man.
now based on how the town acted, I would not have been surprised had the orphans been their team. But being that the town technically doesn't exist anymore, I
Yeah.
don't think the orphans are probably playing there.
No. Wow. What a crazy story.
So, if you want to live away from people and you like carbon monoxide poisoning,
And the real estate's really cheap.
or the excitement of walking around with the possibility of the ground opening up into a fiery pit, then there's always Centralia, Pennsylvania.
So these four people that live there, did you find out anything about them?
I mean, they're the kind of people you'd expect, older people that are just like, I ain't
Didn't they?
moving. You ain't telling me what to do. Except
So
they
they're
don't say it. They
retired.
say it with whatever a Pennsylvanian accent is.
Mm.
I don't know how Pennsylvanians sound.
So I'm guessing they don't pay taxes to anything
I
since
mean, if you're
technically there's not a
squatting,
town.
no. I mean, if they, I guess not. But I imagine I imagine they'd still have to have a job of some sort, so they would pay income tax. I
Unless
guess.
they're retired and just living off their 401k or
I don't know. Maybe they have YouTube channels. Here I am.
could
I'm
be.
here today.
They could
Get
be
a
giving
podcast,
tours. Yeah, they could
the
give
Out of
tours.
Breath podcast.
I'm sure they give lots of interviews.
Maybe. I mean, I only saw a few, and they were just some camera crew would go in there and talk to some old coot that was just like, my family, I was raised here. My granddaddy worked here and lived on this land, and my grandpappy and whatever. It's just an unnecessary attachment to dirt.
So basically, the government just waiting them out too.
Oh no, not really, not anymore. That
Well, they know they're eventually going to
they don't care.
die. That's what I
They
mean. They're going to just leave them there, and they're eventually going to not be there anymore,
yeah, in one way or another, yes.
one way or the other. Yeah, time is undefeated.
Definitely so. All right. Well, that's all I got about this never-ending fire. Well, not in our lifetimes, at least. So join us next time
Uh huh.
when Jason will take us on a small little journey, or possibly a long little journey, that will
Oh
hopefully
no.
make us say, "Waywut." So thank you and bye.
See ya.
You have been listening to Waywut. If you enjoyed what you heard and you would like to listen to more, please follow us on Spotify or Amazon Music. If you're more of a video person, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. And if you don't know what you want, and for those of you that do, please follow us on Facebook. Every week on Tuesday, we will post links to our episodes. Thank you for listening. We really do appreciate it. And join us next time when we will tell you some stories that will hopefully make you say, "Wait, what?"